Hey, do you have some gum?
Sorry, don't have any gum today.
What? You always have gum.
Yeah, I got out of the gum business. I got an idea from Mr. Kennedy's math class for a better business.
What kind of business? We depend on the gum.
I am starting a student bank. I am going to loan out money to students and make money off the interest.
So, you will give me money.
Yeah, I will give you money, but you will have to pay back the amount you borrow plus interest.
Simple interest is the formula I equals P times R times T, and that means interest equals principal times rate times time. And interest is going to be money, principal is the amount of money that you put in, times the interest rate, times the number of years that you have the money in the account. You put $600 into a savings account at Wells Fargo. The account earns 4% interest per year. What is the interest earned after 3 years? So let's start with our formula. I equals the principal times the rate times the time. Now let's take the information from our story problem and put it into the correct variables of the formula. We want to know what the interest is, so that stays I, and that's equal to the principal. The principal is the $600 that you start with, times the rate of 4%, times the time, which is the number of years, and in this case it's 3 years. Let's change the 4% into a decimal. So our new equation is I equals 600 times 4/100 times 3. We multiply that all together and we find that the interest earned, I, is equal to $72. So that answers the question. The interest that you earned is $72. So if you closed your account, they would give you the original $600 plus the $72 in interest you earned for a total balance of $672. You put $500 in a certificate of deposit at the bank that earns 3%. You must keep the money in for 6 months. How much interest do you earn? Start with the formula again. Interest equals the principal balance times the rate times the time. Take the information from the story problem and put it into the correct parts of the formula. This time we're still trying to figure out the interest. We got I equals $500 balance that you're putting in times a rate of 3% times, now be careful, it's in years. And we're not doing a whole year. We're doing only 6 months out of the 12 months of the year. Now let's clean it up a little bit. I is equal to 500 times the percent. We're going to change that to a decimal, so that's going to be 3/100 times 6/12 is the same as a half, or 5/10. Multiply that all together and we'll see what the interest is that's earned. So in this case, I is equal to $7.50. That's all you made from this certificate of deposit. So at the end of the 6 months, they will pay you back your $500 plus the $7.50 interest for a total of $507.50. You put $1,000 in a savings account. It earned $100 in 4 years. What is the annual interest rate? This time it's a little bit different. We still start with I equals P times R times T. But this time we're not finding the interest, we're missing the interest rate. So let's substitute in what we know. We earned $100 in interest, so that's going to be our I. And that's going to be equal to our principal, which was $1,000 that we put in, times R, we don't know what the interest rate is, times 4 years. Let's use the commutative property and clean this up a little bit. 100 is equal to 4,000 times r. Now it's a one-step equation. Divide both sides by 4,000. That gets r all by itself, and r is the decimal 25 thousandths. You can change that to the percent, 2.5%. So the interest rate on this, to get that interest, has to be 2.5%. You have $1,200 and you put it in a bank account with a goal to earn $180 in interest at a 5% interest rate. How long will it take? Start with that same formula. Interest equals the principal times the rate times the time. This time, the information that we're missing is the time. We want to know how long it will take. So the I is the interest we want to earn, which is $180. That equals the $1,200 that you're putting in, times the rate, which is 5%, times the time in years, but we don't know what that is yet. Remember to change the 5% to a decimal. So we have the equation 180 is equal to 1,200 times the decimal 5/100ths times t. Let's clean it up a little bit. So we got 180 is equal to 60 because 1,200 times 5/100ths is 60. Now we have a one-step equation. 180 equals 60 times t. To solve equations, do the opposite. Divide both sides by 60, and we find that t is equal to 3. Remember, the t is always in years, so if t is 3, it means we're going to have to wait for 3 years to accrue $180.